Are you ready?
I said, are you ready?
And welcome to the Mod Squad Layeth the Squad Down, episode number 1. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing? This is a wrestling recap show. I am joined by my co host, Steve.
That's right, down since day one ish.
Down since day one ish. I am your
That's
host,
right. We're
Kevin.
we're we're already making the wrestling references.
Yes, this is going to be a wrestling recap show of the week. It's going to be free form a little bit. We sort of just talk wrestling, kind of give our thoughts on what went down during the week. But let's start off with Raw, shall we?
Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw, correct?
Which you get the full platform because you watch it live and I watch it on Hulu, in which they crop it down to an hour and a half and cut out 1 to 2 matches and 2 to 3 segments. But who cares about Hulu? They get the product from the E themselves, so the
that
E screws themselves.
that's true. That's true. Well, it started off with a match between Bianca Belair and Nikki Cross. This
The
is
recently returning Nikki Cross.
correct. Now, keep in mind, all shows this week, with the exception of AEW, is the was it the
It's built.
penultimate until the Crown Jewel.
It's the build up to Crown
The
Jewel.
build up to Crown Jewel. Yes, it's the last show before Crown Jewel. I'm sorry there. Wrong phrasing. But yeah, so there's not a whole lot of talking points because usually WWE don't do a whole lot of exciting things to show before the pay per view.
This is
Uh,
true.
so you had the Belair Cross match. There was a distraction finish with uh, what's that group called? Bailey's group,
Damage
freaking
control.
Damage
Damage.
Control.
Which I have
And
to say is hilarious because I actually knew a tag team that were two dudes in independent wrestling who
uh,
called themselves Damage Control, and they had such fragile egos that if they knew that if they were around as Damage Control today and two women were doing it, they'd have a hissy fit. I guarantee it.
they
And I
probably
hope
are.
I hope they see this. I hope they see this. Big D, Amazing Web, fragile egos. Let's do it.
Well, it did have a distraction finish with Belair getting the win.
It did.
And then pretty much right after that, you had a Lashley Lesnar interview where uh, Lesnar actually came down to the ring instead of doing the backstage interview and
Mm-hmm.
called out Lashley, and there was a big brawl. And
I I really I I really liked Bobby Lashley when they had him with MVP. I do not know why they decided to do the whole Lashley MVP split after Mania. I believe that's when they did it. I don't know why the culmination of this at Crown Jewel, I want to say, is the end of the Lashley Lesnar feud.
I
Hopefully,
hope
I'm
so.
I'm hoping. Um, because I'd like to see Lesnar either go away or go on to a new opponent. And in reality, the only opponent they can give him, I'd say, is Roman. And I don't think that Brock should be the guy to beat Roman on Roman's big run.
I don't think so either. I
I
think that
don't
they
know. I
just
don't know
brought.
if there's. I don't know if there's anyone that can beat Roman on Roman's big run. I don't see anybody that they could bring in other than The Rock. And why would you bring The Rock in to have him win the championship when he is a full-time actor now?
I have my own thoughts on this, on who's going to beat Roman for the belt. I believe it's going to be Cody when he finally comes back.
It probably
Uh,
will be Cody.
but I only believe they brought Brock in just for Crown Jewel. That's really the only reason I think they brought Brock in.
And I mean, we'll get into that later, but I'll tell you right now, Lashley Lesnar, opening match of Crown Jewel,
Okay.
opening match.
Mm,
So what does
I
that
guess.
say? Like,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Then we had you know, Rollins versus Theory. I thought this was a really good
really good
match.
match, really
This
good
was a
match.
much better match than I thought it was going to be. and Rollins did get the win clean.
Got the big W.
Yeah.
Love Seth frickin' Rollins. He's probably my favorite member of the Shield. He is the. I tweeted the other day. Seth Rollins' theme is greater than Jericho's entrance theme. I will take mindless owing over Judas any day.
Any day.
Any
Okay.
day.
Okay.
I love Seth Rollins. And you know what? Austin Theory is doing his job. As someone, I'll say this, should have said this at the beginning. I work in the world of wrestling. I was a referee for 5-6 years. I was a manager. I managed a stable in independent professional wrestling for 5 to 6 years. Had a match on the same card as Jeff Jarrett versus Dr. Wagner. So I know the ins and outs of wrestling. I understand. It's a gimmick. It's a work. We understand. It's still real to me. Damn it.
Work the gimmick. Work the
You
gimmick.
work the gimmick as best you can, and Austin Theory is working that gimmick, and he is doing a damn good job of it. I know it's a work, but I still hate the dude, and he's still out there giving top matches, top class matches.
Austin Theory is freaking. He reminds me, honestly, he reminds me of a young Cena.
He might be the first guy to hold the cash in the case, and the money in the bank, and not use it.
Very possible. Very possible. All right, then we have like a little rain segment where the Miz comes down and he knocks out the Miz. It was build up to Crown Jewel.
It's also to continue the Miz Dexter Loomis feud that they're doing.
Yeah.
Which I love.
It didn't progress it. It didn't progress that whatsoever.
It didn't progress it whatsoever, but it still continues it. I am a big fan of everybody that Hunter has brought back to the fold that was let go, with the exception of Braun Strowman. Okay. I did not see the reasoning behind bringing Strowman back. I love Gargano. I love Candice. I love Dexter. I'm sure there are other people that they've brought back that I can't
remember. There's one that I don't like, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, I can't wait. Bray. Is it Bray Wyatt? That was who I forgot.
It's not Bray Wyatt. I love Bray Wyatt.
Man. Can't wait to get into that.
Then it was Priest Anderson. This was it was a mid-match.
Machine Gun!
Yeah.
Carl Anderson.
Carl Anderson did get the win. Then there was a Judgment Day beatdown of everybody. And
I'm not a fan of the Judgment Day.
You're not a fan of the Judgment Day?
I am not a fan of that. I was a fan of the Judgment Day when Edge was leading the Judgment Day. And then they just do this random, like,
I'm not gonna lie.
We just faced Finn, and now he's going to join us. You could have done that so much better.
I'm not going to lie. I was with you for like the first month or so. And then they're slowly starting to bring me in with Rhea being the X factor in just about every match. Honestly, Rhea is the glue in that whole group. She is the glue of that whole group, in my opinion. I love me some Rhea Ripley.
She's definitely... Never mind. Yeah. Yes, she's the glue.
Well, we're gonna leave it there. Then
she can be my daddy, just like Sonya Deville. Any day
of the week, any day. Then there was a Corbin segment with JBL, and he said,
I was sorry. I was all for JBL coming out, and then they have him bringing out Corbin Dallas as the new wrestling god, and I'm like, GTFO.
Baron Corbin.
I'm like, get out of here.
Baron Corbin, not Corbin Dallas.
Oh, sorry, we're not talking about Fifth Element.
But yeah, then there was just a beatdown of truth. That's really all that was. Then there was of course, this was on Halloween, so you got the Otis versus Riddle trick or treat fight.
I skipped it. I love Riddle, but I do not like.
I hate all these gimmick matches. I hate every one of these.
I just don't like Alpha Academy. They do their job. I just don't like them.
You shoosh!
Every time he says that, all I think of is Dom DeLuise's kid. I cannot think of his name in Encino Man. Shush! Shush, please.
But
Shush.
I love Chad Gable as a wrestler. I don't like the gimmick. So
He's a really talented wrestler. When they had him
yes.
with Kurt Angle's kid, it was a great.
Then there was the Miz Ali with Ali being the victor in this. Eh. The,
They're doing stuff. They're giving Ali the push. They're giving Ali a push after he asked for his release for like a year.
yeah. Then there's the Gargano expose, which was it still didn't they had this long segment and it didn't further the storyline at all. It was flatline.
I don't
It
know what you're talking about because I did not get the Gargano expose on Hulu.
it was just Gargano exposing why supposedly
Oh, it's the
why
blowing the whistle gimmick.
yeah, the blowing the whistle, it didn't go nowhere. It was all suspect. All
I love John.
suspect.
I love Johnny wrestling. I think he's an amazing person in the ring. His wife, I think, is more talented than he is.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
Then
Candace is just so spectacular in the ring and so underused. She should be in the championship run right now, but that's just me. Please continue.
Then there was the biggest talking point of the night, probably, in Asuka Bliss versus Dakota Kai and Io, with Bliss and Asuka getting the tag team championship belts.
I'm not gonna lie, hated the finish. I did not see the point. Don't know how this furthers. I love what they're doing with damage control. Um, so I just don't get it.
So, what do you think was your match of the night throughout this whole show?
Probably Rollins Theory.
I have that written down as my match of the night as well. That does it for Raw. How about AEW?
Ooh, Dynamite, baby.
Dynamite.
Oh man,
Uh,
can I just start? So we started Dynamite with a
leave
wrestler who I cannot stand. I do not like him at all. I think he is a walking piece of garbage. Darby Allin versus one of the greatest wrestlers to ever step foot in a ring, one of the greatest technical, one of the greatest performers, one of the greatest entertainers, a man I have met, shook the hand of, told him I love the work that he has done over the years, Mr. Jay Lethal.
That is very true, and you have the opposite opinion on most people's on Darby Allen. People love them some Darby. I'm sure there's some personal reasons behind that. You being in the
Yeah,
business, yes.
when you are a transphobic person that publicly posts stuff online,
I
I have an issue with that. So
okay, yeah, I have an issue with that as well. All right, but he gets his comeuppance with a attack by Cole Carter and who
Slapnuts El Kabong.
Double J, haha, a double R E double T.
Hmm.
Double J, Jeff
I will
Jarrett.
say right now, Jeff Jarrett has the better strut than Ric Flair
I've always thought that.
with the two
Always thought
fingers
that.
and the two fingers. Two fingers.
But yes, Jeff Jarrett is now in AEW. I hope he stays mid card. Don't put him in any top storylines.
They are keeping him. They brought him in exactly where they needed to bring him in with Lethal.
I get it.
Jay Lethal was Jeff Jarrett's partner in the main event of Ric Flair's last match.
Which probably won't be his last match, but okay.
No,
I
no. And on all honesty,
mhm,
with the way Flair was that night,
it's his last match.
it will
Well,
probably
there
be
you
his
go.
last match.
There's a connection right there. You got Steve, who is at Ric Flair's last match ever, and I was at WrestleMania 24 for his last WWE match ever.
Match.
So there you go.
Which I will say right now, the WWE forced him to do.
Yeah,
Ric Flair
he didn't
never
want to do it.
wanted that match.
All
So,
right. All right.
oh no, but great start to Dynamite.
It
Great
really
start.
was. It's one of those starts that grabs your attention right away, especially with the guitar over the head. Love it. Now
Oh, and then
his
the pool of blood that just formed, which I'm only
yeah,
assuming is from the guitar shot somehow.
it had to have been but I will say he stumbled over his promo at the end, Jeff Jarrett. But
He's allowed to. He's a legend. He's a Hall of
at
Famer.
age 78 or whatever he is,
He's
he's in
allowed
great
to.
shape though. He's
Yes,
in great shape.
yes,
Then we had the Moxley Lee Moriarty match with Mox winning by submission.
yeah. Great match. Short in comparison to what it could have been. Moxley brings the fight. Lee Moriarty recently turning heel, joining the firm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm glad they did the payoff with the firm that they did because you had the manager, I forget his name right now, but you had him going around handing out all of these business cards. And I thought, as a former manager, like I was like, this is hokey unless this is legitimately going somewhere. And then lo and behold, everybody that he gave a business card to, he is now managing.
I love
Like
it. I love it.
he has a big dude. It's great. I love what they're doing. The whole story with them and MJF. But Lee Moriarty has always been a great performer in the ring. He's actually one of the people I really liked when I first started watching AEW. And I thought that this was a very well delivered heavyweight championship match against Jon Moxley.
Very, very true. And then one of my personal favorite tag teams, acts, I should say, out of all of wrestling, the Acclaim with the Daddy Ass Birthday Bash. Steve, scissor me.
Ah! My neighbors have to think I am the weirdest dude ever because I watch AEW with the window wide open and I will scream at the top of my lungs, "Scissor me, daddy ass!"
I
And
love it.
they have to people have to be walking outside hearing from inside of a house, "Scissor me, daddy ass!" And if they have no idea what's going on, they're just like, "Freaks."
And I'm telling you right now, to me, this looks like Billy Gunn is having the most fun he's had in wrestling since DX.
Sure.
It
Absolutely.
it definitely looks like he's having the most fun. But yeah, that gets broken
You
up
you
with his
uh,
kids coming down, and then FTR coming down and breaking that up. So yeah, just it ended. It started really good, then ended how you expected
I
to end.
love how Billy Gunn's two kids both look like Billy Gunn, but at separate points in his career.
Yes, yes. Then there's the Jericho and surprise challenger
Oh,
for the Ring of Honor
woo!
Open Challenge,
Boom, boom! Colt
Colt
Cabana,
Cabana,
boom, boom! Colt
which is
Cabana.
which is the biggest slap in the face to CM Punk.
I loved it. It's Colt Cabana.
Cabana.
I love Colt Cabana as someone who was a longtime subscriber to the Colt Cabana Patreon that has a long line of envelopes with names that says to Steve Monday Night Stir Raw,
Nice.
personalized from Colt Cabana. As I just put my home address right on out there. I don't mind. Um, I love Colt Cabana. Like, dude, like I just keep all of them. Like, it's just a little sticker that says Colt Cabana with his PO box and where he is in Chicago.
That's cool.
I have been a long time fan of Colt. Like I said, I've been watching Ring of Honor for forever. To see Colt come out, to give him that handshake, to legitimately grab that hand of Jericho and
Hmm.
get right in his face. Ooh, I loved this match. I wanted Colt to win so much. I knew he wasn't going to, but I wanted Colt to win this belt so bad.
So
The
what do
one
you
belt he
think?
never got. Oh,
What do you think of the Yocho having the Ring of Honor championship?
I think it's dumb that they do this when they're on TV because they're holding up 35. They should be holding up the 5 here and the
And the
3
three
here
there.
to make the 8. Um, what Chris Jericho is doing with his Ring of Honor run, uh, I respect and I hate.
Hmm. He's doing his
I
job.
He's doing his job. I have watched Ring of Honor. It is the first. It's like the first independent, if you want to call it an independent promotion. It's the first promotion I really started watching that was not WWF.
Hmm.
I started watching Ring of Honor, then I kind of got into total nonstop action. So I've been watching Ring of Honor for forever. I think the person that is eventually going to beat Jericho is going to be a former ROH champion. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's going to be Adam Cole. I think when Adam Cole is finally good enough, I think Adam Cole is coming back, and I think he's going to be the man to beat Chris Jericho. I think he's the only man that can beat Chris Jericho for that belt.
I would love that. I would love
There
for it to
and
be.
and the thing is there's a handful. You can look at a handful of former Ring of Honor champions, because that's what I did when they were like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a former Ring of Honor champion. I thought they were going to bring in a heavyweight. At no point did I think like, oh, they're going to bring in like the television champion or pure champion or a tag team champion, like Cole Cabana, 2-time ROH tag team champion. So
Mm-hmm.
I was super happy. But I'm hoping it's Cole. I hope the next person they bring in against Jericho is Kyle O'Reilly. I don't know where he's at right now. AEW has a lot of injured wrestlers, which really
They
bums me
do.
out
They do. But
because
they're
they're
deep. They are deep right now. So they,
but the people that I really love in AEW right now, Kyle
Mhm.
O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Mercedes Martinez, all on the injured list right now. People that I'd love to see wrestling. But
I get you.
I loved the match with Colt Cabana. It really delivered. Jericho, as much as I dislike the man personally, Jericho always puts on top class matches.
He did.
He's been doing it 30 plus years. Like,
There was a little lull in his performances in AEW where it looked like he gained weight, but then it just
oh, he
looked like
100%. No. He 100% during the
yeah,
pandemic. He gained a lot of weight.
and then he
And
just totally shredded it. He's looking
sure.
so good, so good. Then we have the Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus, Ray Phoenix for the All Atlantic Championship. Cassidy retains.
Cool.
I love
Whatever.
Cassidy. I love Cassidy. His gimmick is so. His gimmick is me. I am his gimmick.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean,
Whatever. Have you ever heard his podcast with Cole Cabana?
no, I didn't.
It's Cabana doing a lot of talking. And then he's like,
Cool.
cool.
I believe
Whatever.
it. Hey, work the gimmick, man. All right, then we
I
have.
think now here's my thoughts on Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy looks like Tim Roth in Reservoir Dogs when he played Mr. Orange, which is how I think he got the name Orange.
Orange Cat. Okay.
Look,
Then
next time you see him, look at him. He looks like Tim Roth. He
all
looks
right.
like a young Tim Roth.
I'll definitely do a side by side comparison.
You should.
Um, and then of course, since it's Jericho, there's a beatdown after the match, and then who should come help him? It's
Oh,
Cat.
Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Bryan,
Mm-hmm.
or Brian Danielson, or no, I was right, Daniel Bryanson,
And
Wheeler
then
Yuta.
the rest of the JAS Jericho Appreciation Society comes down and beats all them up, and then all of a sudden it's Kayasori Shibat. I cannot say his name to help fight off Pac, and then
Oh,
you know
and then he gets his match
he gets his
for
match.
what we had on Rampage, in which Cassidy retained.
Okay, yeah, we're not covering Rampage.
Because we're
We're
not
not
covering
covering.
Rampage.
Yeah,
Cassidy defended and retained his belt.
cool.
I like him with the belt. I think there are
I
other
love
people
how
that
he
could
comes down to the ring with a belt
with
and a
it in a
backpack.
backpack. It's so he just doesn't give a shit. I just love it so much.
I do too. I do too. His gimmick is. I hated his gimmick in the beginning.
Oh, I've always loved his gimmick. I love
Slowly.
him. I love all of Best Friends. Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, Danhausen. You can even do the extended of that with Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. With Roppongi Vice out of New Japan Pro. Bro, we could go, oh my God, I love New
I get
Japan
it.
Pro, but we won't even get into that. So what else
No.
happened on Dynamite?
We have Jade Cargill versus Marina Shafir.
And I was really looking forward to this match until Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose came out and did live commentary in which I legitimately just skipped it.
Yeah, I cannot stand Vicky Guerrero's voice. It's ear piercing. It's not oh man,
It's annoying.
it's not bad heat.
It's annoying.
It's go away heat. Like I want to change the channel. Like and that's the type of heat you don't want.
I just, as soon as she was like, excuse me, I'm gonna do live
Oh
commentary, I was like, I was really
no!
looking forward to this match.
But
What did we get after that?
we got Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage, which
In the main event for the Ring of Honor,
which was such a good match. It was
Brian
a really
Cage
good
is a
match.
machine, dude.
Dude, that man is a beast.
That man is a
Straight
beast.
beast.
That man is a beast.
Like
So here's a fun fact for you. Brian Cage used to have a tag team called Natural Selection. Do you know who his tag team partner was?
No.
Shawn Rickers, but you might know him better as L.A.
A Knight.
Knight.
Okay. All
So
right.
Brian Cage and L.A. Knight used to be a tag team called Natural Selection, and they were managed by Percy Pringles William III, also known as Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer. Cool.
That's right.
All right. Well, Joe actually wins this by submission.
Yeah, man.
Wardlow, then there's a beatdown. Brian
Yeah,
Cage
then you get the
attacks.
gates. Well, you get the gates of agony. You get
Yeah.
Khan, and you get Toa Leona coming on down with the embassy. Prince Nana from Ring of Honor, the embassy. Gotta love him.
And then
R.I.P. Jimmy Rave.
Wardlow comes down
And you
to
get
save Joe
Wardlow.
from the embassy.
Yeah,
And
man.
then after the match, Powerhouse Hobbs takes and beats down.
Powerhouse.
Dude, Powerhouse Hobbs, he reminds me of somebody, and I cannot put my finger on it. I want to say from old WCW, he reminds me of Booker T's brother.
Stevie Ray.
Yeah, he reminds me of Stevie Ray a little
He has
bit.
a very Stevie Ray build. I was gonna say he
Yeah,
does have a very Stevie Ray build.
but
We're gonna see eventually Wardlow versus Hobbs for the belt. I'm not gonna lie. I hope Hobbs wins it. It's not that I don't
I do
like
too.
It's not that I don't like Wardlow. I think Wardlow is great, but he needs to improve a little bit in the ring. My personal opinion. Whereas I think Powerhouse Hobbs, he just brings it in the ring. Like he just
Wardlow is getting the push Cage should be getting, and
100%. Oh my God,
yeah,
give Cage a goddamn belt.
and Hobbs needs to be pushed more. So I agree with you 100% there. What is your match of the night?
There were some really great solid matches.
There really was. AEW tends to put on better matches than
WWE.
WWE.
100%. Thinking about it, I give me the rundown. Just give me the card you
Oh,
had.
Jesus Christ!
Well, you had Lethal Allen, or
Lethal Allen, Moxley, Moriarty.
Okay, I'll go Moxley Moriarty. I think that was probably
that was a really good. I'm actually going Joe Cage. I'm going Joe Cage.
Okay,
I'm going Joe Cage. All right, and then lastly not lastly.
So I'll say right now, I didn't catch SmackDown. SmackDown is loaded onto Hulu, and as of yesterday afternoon at like 4 p.m. on Saturday, while I was watching Crown Jewel, SmackDown still hadn't been loaded. It was probably loaded this morning. I have not watched SmackDown. I know it's all built up for Crown Jewel. So
it is. It was.
If you just want to give a quick rundown of the matches, I know that Rey Mysterio faced Zhang General.
Yes, I will. I'll give a quick rundown because it was really a C-rated show in my opinion. Yeah, it started off with
SmackDown wasn't feeling too oozy, was it?
No, it was not very oozy. You had Liv Morgan versus Sonya Deville in a no DQ match with Morgan winning. You had Ricochet versus LA Knight, and LA Knight getting the win, but of course cheating, pulling the tights, and holding the ropes.
Gotta do what you gotta do, baby.
You had Bray Wyatt with a weird segment backstage where he kind of got really up into a production manager's face and just talking about how, that feeling when somebody cuts you off, that's how I feel about you right now and stuff like that. It was really weird. You had the Usos in-ring promo with the New Day interrupting, saying that once they get back from Saudi Arabia, or from Crown Jewel, I should say. Once they get back from Crown Jewel, if they still have the titles, they'll be next in line because they want to defend their not undefeated, but holding the belt the longest streak, having the belt titles the longest. Let's see. Then there was, of course, a beatdown by, the Brawling Brutes came in and attacked the Usos from behind. Then the New Day joined them and started beating down the Usos. Then the rest of the bloodline came down, and that was that. Bloodline stand tall, basically.
Yeah,
then
they should.
Yeah. Then there was a Natalya Baszler match, which
Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades.
She is coming back to her NXT self again, which I am
Good.
loving.
I love Shayna
Baszler gets the
Baszler.
win. Then the Mysterio Gunther match with Gunther getting the win clean.
As he should. As he
Yes.
should. He should then put Mysterio on a stretcher and slam him into the goddamn ring post like Big Show did 20 years ago.
But this was such a good match. There was a lot of back and forth. It was very believable the way that the match
I'm probably gonna go
was
back
laid
and
out.
watch it. I'm a
Yeah,
fan of Gunther. Not a lot of people are fans of Gunther.
I'm a
You
fan of
look at
Gunther. I'm
you
a
look
fan
at
of
him
Gunther.
from NXT to now, and that man has chiseled himself.
Yes, he has.
Chiseled
He has.
himself.
But to me, that's the match of the night was Mysterio Gunther.
Sure. And then we have Crown Jewel, which I
Yes,
will
I did not watch Crown Jewel. That is a personal choice. I have not watched any of the Crown Jewels because it's blood money.
blood
Uh,
money.
but Steve did watch Crown Jewel.
I
Steve,
because I have Peacock and I'm gonna squeeze that what $6.99 a month I pay. I'm gonna squeeze every bit of blood out of it I can.
I
So
get it,
we
man.
started off Crown Jewel with Lashley versus Lesnar,
Hmm.
with Brock Lesnar going over in less than I want to say 10 minutes. It I don't know. I wasn't a fan. I kind of paid attention. I kind of didn't pay attention.
Gotcha.
After this, we had the women's tag match for the tag team championships of Dakota Kai and Io Sky versus the champs of Asuka and Alexa Bliss. And due to an interference from Nikki Cross, Dakota Kai and Io Sky
Oh, Jesus
become
Christ.
our new women's tag team
So
champion.
I wonder
Two
if they,
time.
I wonder if they took the belts off of them because the prince in Saudi Arabia wanted a title change on
I
them on that
that
show.
that you know that might have been it. That might have been it because
Why do
there
it?
are, yeah. After that, we have McIntyre versus Karrion Cross in a cage, in which Drew McIntyre goes over because Scarlett locked the door to the cage and couldn't get it unlocked fast enough for Cross to get out before McIntyre could climb over the cage and get down to the floor himself.
Now,
I'm ready for this.
since you brought this match up, Karrion Cross is the guy that Triple H brought back that I believe should not be back.
Oh, I love Cross. I love Cross.
I I like him better now that he's back with Scarlett, but I don't think he's
They got the Zoltan gimmick off of him.
yeah.
They let him grow his hair back. I think he looks better with hair.
I think he does too. I think the visuals look better for Cross now that he's back, but
Yeah, I won't lie.
his work in the ring is still garbage in my opinion.
I think the guy's a little QAnon, so
Mhm. Okay.
but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Cross. I've always liked him. I liked him when he was in NXT.
Can't get into him.
I liked him in Lucha Underground when they brought him in as the White Rabbit.
Okay.
I've always been a fan. I was a fan of Cross since Lucha Underground, which is where I was introduced to him when he was
Okay.
Killer Cross.
I can't get into him, so but moving on.
Scarlett can. We then had a 6-man tag of the Judgment Day versus the OC,
Mm-hmm.
in which we have the Judgment Day going over. We have another feud that I don't get: Braun Strowman versus Omos. In which I'm not gonna lie, I skipped right over the match, right to the end to find out Strowman won it.
Okay.
You have the tag team championship of the Usos. Now, I hadn't seen SmackDown, so the Usos come out and they go, the following is a tag team championship match. And I wrote everything down. I wrote who they were, and then I wrote who they were facing, and then I pushed dash, and I put who the winners were. And before the Brawling Brutes even came out, I wrote tag team championships, the Usos versus space dash the Usos, because I knew whoever was coming out was not going to beat the Usos for the tag team
No,
championships in Saudi Arabia.
now should they? Neither should
No,
they.
no, no, nor should they. So the Usos go over against the Brawling Brutes in what was actually a very good match. I'm a very big fan of Pete Dunne. I'm
Butch.
not so much a fan of the other guy and I understand it's an accident. I understand shit happens, but ever since he broke
Biggie.
Biggie's neck,
Yeah.
like bro, like a belly to belly, that's you, man.
Yeah.
That's you like helping to get them over. Um, we then had Bianca Belair versus Bailey in a last woman standing match, in which the finish was very malarkey.
Really?
Belair retains the belt. I really feel Bailey should have won it at this point. By this point, I think
Yeah.
Damage Control should hold all the women's gold on Raw or SmackDown. Have her go over and take the belt off of Rousey. Sure, why not? I think she's the champ right now.
Yeah.
And then we had our main event of Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. I'm not a fan of Logan Paul. I'm not a fan of when they bring celebrities in to do matches, regardless of how good they are in the ring, because I'm not going to lie. Logan Paul can wrestle.
He
He's a
can.
very
He can.
talented individual. I want to say he tore his like ACL and his meniscus and some shit in his leg like midway through the match, and he still continued and finished it. Like, good for
Oh
him.
wow. Yeah.
But no, I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of Logan Paul, but the match was very entertaining. It was very well done. His Logan's brother Jake Paul came out at one point and knocked out Jimmy and Jay in one punch. Boxing and UFC is just as much of a work as WWE. Fight me about it. You can't have that much sponsorship. You can't have that much sponsorship in a corporate event and not expect someone to come in and tell you you're taking a dive, but then getting a championship in 5 matches from now. It's a work. So you have Jake Paul and Logan Paul. You have the Pauls coming on out. I'd rather deal with my Uncle Paul. He's insufferable, but I love him. Um,
I get it. I get it. But
and
yeah,
that Roman
that's Crown Jewel.
retains. And Roman retains, and that, my friend, is Crown Jewel. You
Awesome.
did at one point. You did have Bray Wyatt come out and give his promo, in which you get Uncle Howdy,
Yeah.
that also comes and says, "So I'm just going to ask, because you're kind of an old school wrestler. Do you know who Uncle Howdy is, Bearded Geek, Kevin?"
Is it Barry Windham?
It is Barry Windham. It is Bray Wyatt's
Actual uncle.
actual uncle Barry Windham.
Was that
Um,
revealed? Was it revealed?
no, but it's
No.
it's very it's very obviously he's got a big mustache. He's got the big Barry Windham
Okay.
mustache. And you go look at the cheekbones that Barry Windham has online, and then look, it's
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 Barry
Barry
Windham.
it's Barry Windham.
Which, in my opinion, would be very cool. All right, guys, that does it for Layeth the Squad Down. I want to say SmackDown so
Baggeth.
bad.
Yeah,
Layeth
man.
the Squad Down. This is the inaugural episode. I hope you enjoy it. For Steve,
Ba
I
da
am
da
Kevin saying,
ba da da.
keep on bamming, bammers.